Dear viewers, this is the second episode on the topic silicons and phosphazines. In my earlier topic, I have dealt polymers, the comparison between organic and inorganic polymers, the properties of inorganic polymers, glass transition temperature, silicons and their nomenclature, preparation of silicons, and finally we have also studied the factors which affect the nature of silicon polymers. In my today's lecture, we will be discussing the equilibration and ring opening polymerization, that is ROP, of cyclosiloxanes. Then we will study the properties of silicons, silicon fluids and oils, preparation, properties and uses of silicon elastomers will also be studied in this lecture. Then finally, we will study the silicon resins, their properties and their uses. So, to start with, let us study equilibration and ring opening polymerization of cyclosiloxanes. When cyclic or linear polysiloxanes are treated with a base or acid catalyst, an equilibrium mixture between the cyclic and linear species is obtained. That means, whenever a linear and cyclic polyoxane they are treated with some base or acid, so they exist in a equilibrium. That means, in that position or in that particular situation, both the cyclic and linear species are present. The process of simultaneous cleavage and reformation of siloxane bonds is called equilibration or equilibrium of cyclopolysiloxanes. So, here what happens is that simultaneously a bond is being broken and a new bond is formed in the siloxane, and this is what is called equilibration or equilibrium of cyclopolysiloxanes. The ring opening of cyclic polysiloxanes by heating them alone or in presence of an acid or a basic catalyst is a general method for preparing straight chain silicons. Two types of mechanisms are involved in forming SiO-Si bonds. The first is the addition polymerization mechanism. In this, the active center add to another silicon oxygen silicon bond. The another is the hydrolysis or condensation reactions. In all these reactions, they involve the thermodynamic equilibrium between the reactants and products. Acid catalyzed ring opening. In this is a cyclic siloxane. Siloxane, because here silicon oxygen silicon bond is present. When an acid like HX, it attacks to this particular cyclic siloxane, what happens? The bond between silicon and oxygen, it gets broken to one part, that is O negative. Here O negative is formed and here Si positive is formed. To O negative, H positive gets attached and OH is formed, while to S positive X minus gets attached and here SiX is formed, and since this cyclic structure it breaks, a linear structure is formed. So, from structure 1, structure second is formed. Now, this structure second, it can take either root 1 or root 2. If it takes root 1, structure 3 is formed. Here what happens? The structure 2, it combines to another molecule of structure 1 and structure 3 is formed. Here we have 3 and 1 4 silicon units, and here we have 8 silicon units, 7 here in this bracket and the 8th one outside this. If it follows the structure 2, in structure 2 the hydrolysis takes place and HX gets removed. So, from here when water is added, this X removes from here and the polymer formed would be of this type, which is the structure 4. Further, this combines to another unit and this structure 5th is formed, and this keeps on repeating. So, here we have 4 units, here we have 8 units. Similarly, it can extend up to a large chain. This is the base catalyzed ring opening. Here we have tetracyclic siloxane, which is treated with a base KOH. Another base like NaOH can also be used here. So, what happens? This base, this gets attached to this tetracyclic siloxane. To one side of silicon, OH groups attached, and to the other side the potassium gets attached and a salt is formed like this. This further reacts to another molecule of the tetracyclic siloxane to form a larger polymer, which again is attached to the another unit of the starting material, that is tetracyclic siloxane, and the polymer it increases its size and just keeps on repeating to give a large polymer. Properties of silicons. First is the chemical stability. The silicons are very stable towards chemical reagents, like they are not affected by weak acids, alkalis or salt solution or water at room temperature. They are also stable towards the attack of oxygen. However, some oxidation occurs at high temperature. At high temperature, fluid polysiloxane get cross-linked through oxygen atoms to form a rubber-like gel. Presence of aromatic group on silicon increases the oxidative stability of the polysiloxanes. That means, if in place of alkyl group we use the aryl group, that is phenyl group or any other aryl group, then the polymer it becomes stable towards the oxidation. Next is the thermal stability. Silicon polymers are highly stable towards heat. That means, these do not easily react when they are heated. These exhibit thermal stability up to a temperature of about 200 to 300 degrees Celsius, that is the glass transition temperature. That means, below this temperature all the polymers are stable, they are not affected by the heat. Below the glass transition temperature, the polymer is rigid like glass, and above this temperature it is quasi liquid or elastomer. That means, if the temperature is below 200 to 300 degrees Celsius, the polymer is somewhat solid like glass, but if the temperature is more than Tg, it becomes quasi liquid. Quasi liquid means it is semi liquid, it is not exactly liquid and nor it is exactly solid, it is intermediate between the two. Next is the chemical properties. The siloxane bond in silicons may be cleaved by organometallic reagents like Grignard reagent, alkyl lithium and lithium aluminium hydride. So, here we can see we have this siloxane unit which is made up of n number of monomers. So, it reacts with the same number, that is n number of Grignard reagent. This Grignard reagent can be written as R minus and Mgx positive, and this unit can be written as Si positive and O minus, because O is more electronegative than silicon. So, the Mgx, the positive part, it gets attached to the negative part, that is oxygen, and it forms OMgx, while the negative part, that is R dash, it gets attached to the silicon, which is the positive part, and form SiR dash. This compound on hydrolysis, this yields the alcoholic group here, that is a hydroxy group here, because it get hydrolyzed in between the O and Mg, and it forms OH, and MgXOH would be eliminated. This can also react with alkyl lithium. Again, the same number of alkyl lithium will be required as the number of monomers unit present in this polymer. So, again this get attached to this siloxane similar in the same fashion as this Grignard reagent has get attached. So, it will form O lithium and silicon will get attached to the R dash. Again on hydrolysis, this will yield trialkyl silanol. Also reacts with lithium aluminium hydride, which is a reducing agent. So, this lithium aluminium hydride, this reduces this siloxane to like this O, it gets eliminated and we have hydrogen. It has reduced this particular siloxane to dialkyl silane. Siloxanes are used for low temperature lubrication because these are not affected by lowering the temperature. These can work very well at low temperature also. Hydrocarbon oils on the other hand cannot be used because they become viscous on cooling. These are, that is the silicons, are very good insulators and are used as insulators for electrical motors and other electrical appliances, as these can withstand high temperature. Water repellents. These act as water repellents because the silicon chain is surrounded by the organic side groups. So, therefore, these do not interact with water. Oxidation stability. These are resistant to oxidation, but when heated to high temperature to near about 350 to 400 degrees Celsius, they rapidly oxidize, which leads to cross linking. Low molecular weight silicon polymers are soluble in organic solvents like ether, CCl4, that is carbon tetrachloride, and benzene. These are used in waterproofing and in electrical condensers. Due to their low toxicity, these are also used in medicinal and cosmetic implants. These are also used as lubricants at both high and low temperature, because these can withstand a very high temperature as well a low temperature. Uses of silicon polymers. Silicon rubbers. These are very useful because they retain their elasticity at low temperatures as compared to other rubbers. Silicon polymers are used as greases, that is the lubricant for brake and varnishes. Due to their low toxicity, these are also used in cookware industry. Liquid silicone can be used as a dry cleaning solvent. These are ingredients in many hair conditioners, shampoos and hair gel products. Next is silicon fluids or oils. The silicon fluids are usually linear polysiloxanes with an average of 50 to 200 units. They are prepared by the hydrolysis of a mixture of chloro-trimethylsilane. Commercially, these are prepared by treating a mixture of tetrakis cyclodimethylsiloxane, that is cyclo-Me2SiO4, and hexamethyl disiloxane Me3SiO SiMe3, which is with a small quantity of 100% sulfuric acid. So, we will see here how the silicone oil is prepared. We will take tetrakis cyclodimethylsiloxane. This is its structure. We have 4 silicon units, each attached to 2 methyl group, and the 2 silicons are attached to oxygen atom, and this is present in a cyclic form. This is reacted with hexamethyl disiloxane. This is hexamethyl, 3 methyl groups are attached to 2 silicon atoms. This is a dicycloxane. It is treated with 100% H2SO4 to obtain the silicon oil. So, this is the structure of silicon oil, which have 14 silicon units present in it. The cyclo compounds provide chain building units, and hexamethylsiloxane controls the chain formation. That means, the chain extends because of this cyclo compound, and this hexamethylsiloxane, it controls the chain. It checks how long the chain is to be formed. The average chain length or molecular weight of the polymer is determined by the ratio of these chain building groups and the chain ending groups. So, the first one, the cyclo compound, is the chain building group, and the second one, hexamethylsiloxane, is the chain ending group. The viscosity of silicon fluid is about 30,000 times more than that of water, and it changes slightly with temperature. That means, it does not has much effect of temperature on its viscosity. The boiling point and viscosity of silicon oils increases with chain length. It means, if the chain length is increased, the boiling point and the viscosity of the oil will increase. These are inert, non-toxic materials, and these have low surface tension. Uses of the silicon fluids or oils. The silicon fluids are used as dielectric insulating materials as capacitors and transformer fluids. These are also used in hydraulic oils, compressible fluids for liquid springs and lubricants. These are used as water repellents for treating masonry and buildings, glassware and fabrics. Water repellent because these does not easily react with water. These are hydrophobic in nature. Methyl silicones can be used as light duty lubricating oil, but are not suitable for heavy duty applications such as gearboxes, because the oil break down under high pressure. So, if we compare the methyl silicones, these can be used as light duty lubricating oil, and we cannot use them for heavy duty, like for heavy application, because these break down easily under high pressure. These can be used as anti-foaming agent, that is, these do not allow the foam to be formed, and hydrophobizing agent in sewage disposal. So, whenever there is some sewage treatment or its disposal, too much amount of foam is formed. So, these can be used there as an anti-foaming agent. These are also used in textile dyeing, beer making, that is for fermentation. These are also used as heat transfer media in heating belts and as components of car polishes, lipstick, shampoos and other cosmetic formulation. Coming on to the next topic, that is silicone elastomers, or simply we can say rubbers. These have very high molecular weight of the order 10 to the power 5 to 10 to the power 6. They are generally produced by equilibration of cyclic siloxanes followed by hydrolysis of dimethyl dichlorosilane with potassium hydroxide. A filler is added to obtain the required reinforcement and affects the physical properties such as tensile strength, gear strength and hardness. The commonly used filler is finely divided silica. This is used because this is inert. Preparation of silicon rubbers. There are two steps in the preparation of silicon rubber. The first is the compounding. Compounding consists of milling of polysiloxane gum, a filler and a cross-linking agent together with certain additives. A typical formulation comprises 100 parts of benzene, soluble polysiloxane gum, 20 to 50 parts of SiO2, that is silicon dioxide as a filler, 6 parts of benzoyl peroxide which acts as a vulcanizing agent, and suitable amount of additives are added. The second step involves the cross-linking. In this step, it involves the cross-linking which connects the polymer molecules with another so that it becomes an elastomer of desired properties. The polysiloxane gum required for making silicon rubber should be a linear polymer of high molar mass, since the tensile strength of the elastomer increases with increase in the size of the gum polymer. Therefore, a large size or a big size polymer is required. Fillers are added to reinforce the polysiloxane gum, which in itself is a soft and weak. Silica in a very fine state is used as a filler. Cross-linking is achieved by the addition of agent like benzoyl peroxide. Mechanism of cross-linking. So, in cross-linking we can see we have this benzoyl peroxide, this gets cleaved and it forms benzoyl free radical. This free radical, it gets attached to the siloxane and now the siloxane free radical is formed. So, here what we have shown is we have n units of monomers in the siloxane, and here the one unit we can see that free radical is formed here. So, we have shown it outside this bracket. So, here we have n minus 1 units and the remaining 1 unit is outside this. Now, this free radical, this attached to other units of siloxane to form. Now, here also free radical will be formed and these two free radical, they combine together to form a cross linked chain like this. So, we get a polymer which is cross linked. If it would have been straight, then it would have been a linear polymer, but here cross linked polymer is formed instead of a linear polymer. Now, this free radical siloxane, it attached to the other siloxane. Here now here also free radical is formed and these two free radical they join together to form a cross linked polymer. Now, this extends in 2 dimensions. This is a cross linked polymer. If it would have been a straight chain, then it would have been a linear polymer. Properties of elastomers. Elastomers shows high thermal stability, that means these can withstand a very high temperature without being broken. These have low temperature performance. These show low temperature performance means these can perform at a very low temperature also. On the other hand, if we compare these with the organic polymers, they do not perform at low temperature, they become viscous on cooling. These show high chemical stability, that means these have no effect of dilute acids or alkalis or salt and water. These have high flexibility. As we can see, we can see rubber, it is flexible. Example of flexibility is rubber, which are elastomers. Uses of silicon elastomers. Most elastomers are rubbers, including both natural and synthetic varieties. They are used mainly for the manufacture of tires and tubes. So, all the tires and tubes we see in the automobiles, they are basically the silicon elastomers. They are also used to produce goods such as hoses, belts, matting, gloves, toy balloons, rubber bands, pencil erasers and adhesives. So, all these examples are of silicon elastomers. As a fiber, rubber called elastic is valuable for the textile industry. That means the elastic we use in the fibers or in the clothes, that is also an example of silicon elastomer. Ethylene propylene rubber, that is EPR, is useful as insulating for high voltage cables. So, we see that cables, they have some coating over them. So, that coating is nothing but simply a silicon elastomer. Thermoplastic elastomers are relatively easy to use in manufacturing processes such as by injection molding. Polyurethanes are widely used in high reliancy flexible foam seating, seals, gaskets, carpet underlay, etc. Coming on to the silicon resins. Silicon resin possess ring structures and have much higher cross linking than silicon elastomers. In a stretched elastomer, the molecular chain uncoiled through rotation about silicon oxygen bond. That means, we can say if we stretch the elastomer, the uncoiling takes place by the rotation around the silicon oxygen bond. In a resin, such rotation is highly restricted and the response to stress occur largely through bending and stretching of the bonds. The properties of resins are dependent upon R upon SI ratio, that is the alkyl group present in the resin and the silicon. Their ratio, it determines the properties of the resins. As this ratio is lowered from 2 to 1, the polymer becomes less fluid, less soluble and less fusible. Most of the resins have the alkyl group is to silicon ratio between 1.0 to 1.6 and their properties are intermediate between those of fluid silicons and those expected from a highly cross linked structure with R upon SI ratio which is equal to 1. Preparation of the resins, silicon resins. First, a mixture of chlorosilicon such as CH3, SiCl3, that is trichloro trimethylsilane, CH3 whole twice SiCl2, that is dichloro dimethylsilane, trichlorophenylsilane and dichloro diphenylsilane are hydrolyzed. During hydrolysis, about 90% of the silanol groups, silanol group is SiOH group, it condenses to form siloxane linkage, means during hydrolysis only 90% of the OH group it forms a siloxane linkage, that is SiO-Si linkage. In this process of random condensation, some ring closure invariably occurs because silanol group condense slowly and with increasing difficulty. After hydrolysis, the product is shaken with an organic solvent and the organic layer is separated. This organic layer is then washed thoroughly to remove the chloride ions in order to check the reversibility of the hydrolysis. These chloride ions are necessary to be removed, otherwise the reaction will reverse. The silanol groups, that is SiOH, left uncondensed in the finished resin impart typical properties to the resin. There are some groups of silanol, that is SiOH, which do not condense, and these groups they impart some special properties to the resin. These groups contribute towards the viscosity of the product, which is an important property which determines the usefulness of the resin. Ethyl and propyl, etc., these groups make the resin softer, increases its solubility in organic solvents and increases its water repellence. The phenyl group increases the resistance towards heat. That means, if we use the ethyl and propyl group, they increases its solubility in the organic solvent. With increasing such groups, the solubility in the organic solvent can be increased. Also, its water repellence power can be increased. And if the phenyl group is used, it increases its resistance toward heat. That means, if a group having the phenyl group, if a polymer having a phenyl group is present, then it can withstand a high temperature. The silicon resin can be copolymerized with the phenolic polyester, epoxy, cellulosic or other functional resins. The properties of this copolymeric resin depends upon the nature of the condensing polymers and the degree of condensation. Coming on to the uses of silicon resins. Silicon resins are used as electric insulators, for laminating purposes, for coating, cooking pans, etc. Summary of the today's lecture: equilibration and ring opening polymerization of cyclosilicons was studied in which we have studied the acid and base catalyzed ring opening. Properties of silicons were also studied, which included the chemical stability, the thermal stability, their chemical properties and their uses. Silicon fluids and oils were studied with their preparation and their uses. We have also studied silicon elastomers, which are also called rubbers. We have studied their preparation, which involve two steps, that is compounding and cross linking. Mechanism of cross linking and the properties and uses of elastomers was also dealt in this lecture. In the end, we have studied the silicon resins along with their preparation and uses. So, this was all about today's lecture. In my upcoming episode on the same topic, we will be studying phosphazines, their preparation, properties and structure, the nature of bonding which is present in phosphazines and their uses. Thank you.